Hello, welcome to Bookclub, a very special episode of Bookclub. We got some ghosts and ghoulies in the mix today. We're gonna be talking about some of our favorite ghost stories, spooky stories, what have you. I'm gonna be your host and conch holder this week, if you know what I mean. My name is Dylan Crowder.
I'm Ansel Crowder to the left of Dylan Crowder.
And I'm Elijah Crowder over here to the right of Dylan Crowder.
Way to the right, like 4,000 miles to the right.
It's almost 5,000 miles, but yeah.
Oh, is it? Okay.
So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. One of y'all want to go ahead and tell us about some spookiness, your favorite spooky story?
Ansel, you want to go first? You go first.
Does it have to be like in a book form? Because I can retrofit it.
We're just free rolling.
Or just like, okay, all right. Well, here's the deal. Like today is the day after our family tradition bonfire that we have on or around Halloween every year. It's just something that mom's side of the family's put on. And I heard a ghost story when I was about 10 years old, so that would have been, 14 years ago? That sort of terrified me, so I was going to share that.
Wait. That math doesn't add up.
It's close enough. I was 10. All right, 24, whatever. You caught me. No, it's like, so it was a long time ago, but it stuck with me. So it was, our cousin from Michigan. I'm not gonna say her name. She might not, I don't want her to be guilty by association, but, she told me the story of Bloody Mary and how to summon her. Do you guys know how to do this or?
Like you look in the mirror and say her name 3 times, and then the Buddha statue appears?
No, the Buddha statue. Did you think that I was going to talk about that?
No.
The Buddha statue scared me too, but Elijah, do you know anything about the Bloody Mary summoning?
I'm with Dylan. I thought you look in the, turn the lights off and look in the mirror and say her name 3 times or something.
You know how I summon Bloody Mary? I go to the bar and say, one Bloody Mary, please.
Well,
a little pepper in it.
Yeah, well, actually, I never made that connection. I do enjoy a Bloody Mary now and again, but it's a lot more than that. All right, so I'm kind of reluctant to even tell you because I don't want you guys to lose sleep. But my cousin told me that the way you do it is you turn, or the way she explained it, you turn around 10 times, you say Bloody Mary 13 times, and then just your whole world just starts to implode. And she told me that she woke up the next day and she had scratches all over her face. I mean, I should have known. This is like Halloween. I knew these were like just ghost stories, but like she just kept saying, "No, this is real. This isn't a ghost story. This really happened." I was like, "Oh crap!" So it freaked me out. And I was asking other people about it, and people were just like, I mean, this is like over the next few weeks. It was like, "Oh yeah, I did that one time," and I heard screaming and the mirror just shattered. And then somebody else is like, "Oh yeah, I did it one time and I saw this monster coming at me from the mirror. Like my face changed to a monster's face and it started reaching out for me. And then the candles blew out and I couldn't see." So it terrified me. I was, I was probably old enough to know better, but it scared the crap out of me. And yeah, it was, I wouldn't take a shower with the door closed and stuff like that for a while. And, wash my hair with my eyes open. It was like anywhere where there was a mirror, it was I felt like I was in immediate danger.
It burns.
Yeah. So, but I never tried. I mean, I still don't think I would try it to this day, even though I'm not scared. Like when I go, if I wake up in the middle of the night and I go to the bathroom, like in the dark, it still turns my stomach a little bit, but I'm able to do it. I won't turn the lights on or anything, but this is a little bit spooky.
A little spooky.
Yeah. So I don't think anything else has ever scared me like Bloody Mary. And then, like, to tie it to a book, there was a book called, I think it was called Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark or something like that.
That sounds familiar.
That was it was in the library, and it was mostly just goofy stories.
It had the very spooky illustrations and everything.
Right. Well, they were either silly or spooky, like, and you never knew what you got. And I turned it, and there was like, the Bloody Mary story was in there, and the illustration was like the most horrifying looking picture I've ever seen. I mean, it gave a face to this thing that was like
something that was already haunting you.
Tormenting me. Yeah. So anyway, that's all nice and fun. I think, but yeah, I don't like, like in the morning when I get up, I think I'd rather be dragged to hell than turn the lights on before my eyes are adjusted. So
that's the real spookiness.
Yeah. Well, I'm 24 now, so.
And just to be clear, you're not the kind of person that seeks out the spooky. You don't really care to be scared.
No, the spooky comes to find me. I don't go near it with a 10-foot pole.
And just to clarify, made a mention of the Buddha statue.
Yeah.
Just to clarify that, real quick story. Our parents used to have a statue of Buddha, probably about 3 feet tall, maybe 2
maybe
feet,
2.5
feet tall.
Yeah, it's probably 2.5, if that.
And yeah, I particularly remember one time when Mom and Dad were away and we were at the house by ourselves. One of you guys told me that there was something real spooky in Mom and Dad's bedroom, and I went in there, and the other one of you were on the far side of the bed, holding the Buddha statue aloft and making it float around and saying spooky things. And that I was probably less than 10 years old at that point.
You were 8 or 9, yeah.
Was that me or Elijah holding it?
I think
like
it was
some
you.
Elijah stuff. I
think you were holding it, and then like Elijah got me back there.
Maybe, I don't know.
It was a team effort.
We were good brothers.
Okay, but I don't see me like actually holding that thing because it kind of freaked me out too.
I'm pretty sure I was the one back there holding it.
Yeah.
And going, ooh.
What about you, Elijah? You got a spooky story you want to relate to us?
Well, there was this one time I was under this Buddha statue. Yeah, I got a couple. I mean, like a couple of quick ones. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Go for it.
All right. Well, one is a spooky thing that I actually debunked, and this is a true story. There's a graveyard or a cemetery in Amory, Mississippi. Somewhere. I can't remember exactly where Amory. Friend of the show. Good people in Amory. I think it's over on the west side, actually. I don't remember exactly where. I think it was over close to the river.
I think I know kind of where you're talking about, like back behind where the movie theater used to be.
Yeah, exactly. Somewhere over there.
I'm not familiar with it.
And part of this graveyard has a above ground sort of crypt. You know what I mean? Like it's like, just concrete slabs covering what would be, I guess caskets laid in this. I don't know, it's like a 4x6 grid of caskets in a.
Sure, it has something to do with the Confederacy.
Yeah, I don't know who's there. Didn't check
if it had anything to do with Confederacy, you would know it had something to do with the Confederacy.
Definitely. No, I think it's just the well-to-do in Amory wanted to be buried above ground, so they didn't have to cohort with the dirty nasties below,
so that their bodies wouldn't come back to life.
Or maybe it's a situation of being that close to the waterway, like New Orleans, they're all in crypts, so they don't pop out of the ground when it floods.
That's probably actually a good point.
Might have something to do with that. But everyone
that's because, like, I mean, the only reason they do that is because, like, New Orleans is below sea level. You don't have to do it in Amory. It's not below sea level.
But he's talking specifically about a cemetery that's like right next to the river.
Yeah, and those people were nervous when the Corps of Engineers came through. They thought everything was going to flood every time it rained. Anyway, it's a crypt there, and the story going around school was that one of them you could knock on the little concrete slab and it would knock back. And I can't remember who all I was with. They were all older than me though, because they had purchased beer. We went there one night and we knocked on the slab, and everyone was, oh yeah, it knocks back, it knocks back. And so I go up to it and I give it a soft tap and nothing. They're like, no, you gotta knock on it, And of course I'm knees shaking because it's kind of weird.
Because it's scary.
Yeah. So
AF.
I knock on it and I've got my ear up pretty close to it, and no joke, it knocks back. So I hit 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and it, very softly, very faintly, 3 or 4 times. But that wasn't enough for me because it didn't sound like something knocking. It sounded like something loose, and that's exactly what it was. The slab was loose, and so when you hit on it hard enough, it would kind of wobble back and forth. Yeah. That was it.
Yeah, well, as you were telling the story, I was thinking it might have been an echo, like an echo, like you knock on it 3 times and the echo comes back 3 times.
And there's also
that makes some sense.
There's also a headstone there with this giant statue of Jesus on it. And
I was going to mention that because I thought that was the cemetery that you were talking about.
Same cemetery.
When were you guys hanging out at cemetery, Amory Cemetery?
I never went, but I've heard the stories.
See, I don't know.
So
apparently Elijah has much larger testicles than we do.
Well,
yeah. He's
I'm almost 28.
Testicular fortitude.
I'm almost 29 now, so it's not like it used to be. No, the statue of Jesus, the thing was that you could put your hand on his chest even on a cold night and it would be warm. You could feel the warmth coming, and of course it's a thick concrete statue, and the thickest part of that is going to absorb the most warmth during the day. So that was like, we went there first, and I immediately was like, look, it's been a sunny day. Of course, it's still retaining a little bit of heat. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I hadn't heard that either, but I think if it were like a miraculous, if it were a true miracle, I would have heard about it by now. Don't you think?
Yeah, especially in Mississippi. I mean,
so yeah, I'm going to chalk that up as not a true miracle.
Right. Well, it's a miracle of modern concrete pouring. I'm sure.
That just kind of gave me an idea. I'd kind of like to have my my burial situation engineered so as to give the impression that it's haunted. I think that'd be a pretty cool thing. Like have
like a trap door and a
no, nothing that would actually kill anybody.
Well, I was
Well, I mean, what would you care?
Fair enough.
Okay.
I think even posthumously, I wouldn't want anybody to die.
Yeah, we don't want to be remembered
my
as
riches, my burial riches.
Right. All right.
It just made me think though, like, okay, go ahead.
Yeah,
Sorry.
No, and then I'm going to wrap up. There was a spooky one that actually wasn't something that I could debunk, and I think I was 7 or 8 years old. I'm going to say 8 years old. Ansel, this was Dylan would remember living in the park next to the park in Smithville. You were born 87? Yeah,
that's right. And I have the faintest memories, but nothing specific.
Mm-hmm. I don't think we lived in the park in Smithville. Yeah, you were brought home from the hospital to the trailer house there. There was a stage that they would put on the local Rod Brassfield Festival. Rod Brassfield was a Grand Ole Opry singer who was from Smithville, Mississippi, and remains to this very day Smithville, Mississippi's only claim to fame.
Until now.
Until...
Yeah, we got
I get what you're saying.
Well, they would have the Rod Brassfield Festival. Anyway, my bedroom window faced that stage, and I remember clearly there was an old street light, though there was no street there at the time. There was a street light there, and shining very closely to the stage. And I remember one night being 8 or 9 years old, staring out of my window for what must have been an hour or 2 hours, and just watching. And this is absolutely true. 6 or 7 ghostly white figures going round and around that stage in circles. And now I would say that window was maybe 50 to 60 yards from the stage. But their feet were not touching the ground. There were no feet. They were just apparitions of sort, white sort of blobs, so to say. So it wasn't like sheets. It wasn't something tangible. You see what I'm saying? But it was
like orbs, right?
Yeah, kind of like wisps of. They weren't so much emitting light as they were reflecting light, or absorbing light and reflecting a bit from the street light there. But I know
so they were ghosts.
I know for a fact. I don't to this day. I don't believe in ghosts. I don't go for that whole supernatural thing. But maybe I saw them and just refused to admit it. But I do remember that I stared out there for like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, and it never stopped. And I eventually slept that night somehow. But yeah, that really happened, and to this day, I don't even living in Smithville. And when we were older, Dylan and I lived in the house there in Smithville 4 years ago, for about a year,
something like that.
Yeah, and even walking around with the kids, I wouldn't walk by that stage. I don't like it.
They still have the stage over there.
I don't think the stage is still there. There's sort of you can see remnants of concrete where
stage.
It's a phantom stage now. But yeah, true. It happened to me.
Well, do you think it might have been like you had fallen asleep and dreamt that?
No.
As you were staring out there?
Absolutely not. Not at all.
See, I was thinking more along the lines of, tainted water supply or too much chocolate milk or something.
Now, see, I cannot verify or deny that because I was 9 years old at the time. But I mean, it was a lucid waking. I was awake. It was a conscious moment and something that I witnessed, and just I told mom and dad about it, and they were like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." I'm like, well, okay. So at that point, it was like, okay, well, it's not important, and I never saw it again.
Okay, that's pretty messed up. I'm sorry that you had to go through that.
Yeah. All right, Dylan. I mean, I don't think we need to comment on.
That was 10 years ago, correct?
No, I'm talking about Dylan's story starts. It was a night just like this.
Well, see, I didn't understand the premise. Like, I thought I was on a different page than you guys. Like, I was actually going to talk about some stuff that I read that was spooky.
Yeah, do that.
Yeah, we're free rolling.
And it's probably going to be that way. Probably going to be that way anyway, because I can't think of any personal ghost stories apart from floating Buddhas. But yeah, just real quick, I want to talk about one of my favorite ghost stories. It's about a specter haunting all of Europe. Are y'all familiar with this one?
This sounds like
maybe
a Laffy Taffy joke, but I'll bite. No, I haven't heard of the specter haunting all of Europe.
It's a lot worse than a Laffy Taffy joke.
Okay.
You see, there's a
wait. Speaking of Laffy Taffy jokes, it's Halloween. I'll be right back. I got some taffy. I'll be right back.
Yeah, do it.
All right, cool. All right, cool. I'm back.
All right, you got a Laffy Taffy joke for us?
Oh no, they're not Laffy Taffies. They're just.
you just wanted some taffy.
Yeah, well, it's Halloween, and you're going to tell us a good Halloween story, so get my candy.
I was expecting a joke in German that,
yeah,
2 peanuts walking down the Strasse.
My dog has no nose.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was talking about one of my favorite ghost stories. It's about a specter haunting all of Europe.
Mm-hmm.
And the specter is the specter of communism. And the ghost story is the Communist Manifesto. It's a really good story about the working people of the world uniting.
I got up for taffy for that.
So, did you hear somebody ever say that, or this is just you coming up with that?
No, that's the opening line of the manifesto. Is there's a specter haunting Europe.
Okay,
it is the specter of communism.
Okay, yeah, I've never read it, so that's just I'm exposed.
But no, seriously, one of my favorite spooky stories, and I'm kind of like Ansel. I don't really seek out the spooky very often.
Cults. Have you ever done a Ouija board? Either of you?
I have not. No,
Elijah?
No, never.
we might need to fire that up.
Yeah, let's
next year.
Yeah,
next year on
year's
Book
Book
Club.
Club, we'll do the Ouija board.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
But no, are y'all familiar with the story of the Mask of the Red Death by Edgar Allan Poe?
I'm not. No.
Isn't
Elijah?
isn't that plague related somehow?
Yeah.
And I mean, don't you see that in modern cultural things like the plague guy going around with the long nose mask? Isn't that? Do you know what I'm talking about? Kind of looks like the spy in Star Wars has the long nose and the goggles on.
Yeah, I kind of know what you're talking about. Like
Taco Bry.
I think it's called like a plague doctor mask. It's real spooky looking.
I mean,
but that's not
Did
really.
y'all see that movie, The Libertine, with Johnny Depp?
Nope.
No.
He had what was it, syphilis, I think? And he had to wear
Wait, the character?
prosthetic crap all over his... the character, not... yeah, he had to wear like a prosthetic nose and stuff. It's a weird movie. But anyway.
Anyway, the Mask of the Red Death is about typical European plague story. There's a disease going around called the Red Death, where people actually like bleed from the pores. So like the main symptom is like these little beads of blood all over their face, and so they. Like the disease takes like 30 minutes from like when you first start showing symptoms. So when you die, and it's extremely painful, and it's ravaging the countryside. So some lordly fellow, a prince, gathers like 1,000 or so of his loyal subjects into I forget what it's called. It's like
canister.
Into a canister, into a castle shaped object, and they weld the doors shut, and they've got enough provisions to ride out the plague, and they're gonna do it up, and they party. And about I think it's like 6 months into it, they throw a party, and it's real spooky. And it's just really good because I don't want to spoil the ending since. Y'all don't seem to remember it. Y'all should probably read it. It's a short story. It'd probably take about an hour to read.
No, go ahead. It's book club. Go ahead.
Okay, well, yeah. Let me pull up my notes on it here, because I actually reread it here recently.
It's Boo Club, but yeah.
Ooh. So they throw a masquerade ball about 6 months into it, and in this ball, there's these 7 rooms, and each room has like a color theme. Like the only lights coming from these candelabras coming through windows, and the windows are stained glass, like blue stained glass in the blue room, et cetera, et cetera. And the last room is black and red. It's real spooky, and there's a clock in there, and on every hour it chimes, and like the chime is so eerie and spooky that the musicians stop playing, and all the party guests stop, and they observe the spookiness of the chime. Well, a little bit before midnight, there's a unwanted guest, a tall, gaunt man, and he's dressed up like a plague victim, and they all start to go after him, and like the main prince goes to get him, and then like the prince gets the plague, and then everybody else gets the plague just as it strikes midnight, and everyone in the party dies. But the thing that I'm not really doing it justice, like the imagery's really great, the pacing's really great. There's like I said, there's almost no dialogue. It's quick. It's an hour-long read, and really it's one of the lesser known Edgar Allan Poe stories, and it just happens to be my favorite.
Dang, dude.
I want to read that now.
That was beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Did Edgar Allan Poe ever not write stories like that? Did he ever have like a
I think the
experimental
poem,
phase where he was like, I don't know, like
doing romance stories or something.
Yeah, something like that. I'm trying to think of a.
What,
I don't know.
You could argue that what was it, Annabelle Lee?
That's what I was going to say. The poem Annabelle Lee was not spooky in any way. I don't think. More of a love poem.
I think there were some ghosts and stuff in that.
Actually, I remember that a little. I don't remember much about it, but I remember reading that in good old high school.
Do you guys
I think
remember?
one of our teachers made us recite that.
Yeah, we
Maybe I did too. I don't know. I can't remember. I have a bad memory, turns out.
Do you remember? Sorry, I'm working on this taffy pretty hard.
That's good audio. That's real good audio.
Yeah. It's Halloween. Sorry. Strawberry. Did you guys ever read The Pit and the Pendulum? If we're talking about Poe.
The Pit and the Pendulum.
Mm-hmm.
I read it, but I don't remember exactly
what it
is. But I know for a fact that I read it. It's like the pendulum.
Yeah, it was about this pit. And in the pit, there's like this pendulum.
Is it like the Bond villain contraption where the pendulum swings lower and lower to the person? Until
That's exactly what it is. It's it's GoldenEye, but with a blade. Yeah, that was a lot like. I just thought of it when you were talking about Poe because he wrote that too.
And shout out to Telltale Heart as well.
Yeah, my favorite is actually the Cask of Amontillado.
Oh hell yeah,
that's the one that I like the best.
No,
and that's the one that I've reread since I read it in high school.
Now, Telltale Heart's the one with the person in the wall, right?
That's the Cask of Amontillado.
That's the Cask of Amontillado. Okay.
And Telltale Heart is the one with the dead person in the floorboards, and like the murderers while he's talking to like the constable or whatever, he can hear
the heart's beating.
The heartbeat.
As he's trying to pass off like everything's cool.
Oh, there's nobody buried under that floorboard, officer.
Hello there.
It's a raccoon.
And of course, the Raven. I kind of remember reciting the Raven and Skewel, but I don't remember reciting Annabelle Lee. Is that what it's called, Annabelle Lee?
I think so.
I believe that's correct.
Either way,
we've probably I'll speak for myself. I probably neglected the horror genre.
Me too.
I have too. I read Stephen King's It when I was younger.
I remember you reading that.
Yeah,
I remember that being in the bathroom for a long time.
I got to be honest. Like the thing about the horror genre is that, it often scares me, and I don't like to be scared. I'm gonna put that out there. I'm not ashamed.
For me, and this is more so movies than it is books, but I found it hard especially in horror movies, to suspend disbelief long enough to like truly get spooked. Yeah, and it just makes it kind of silly for me. And your typical slasher movie with the guy slowly walking forward, and I think they try and instill some realism into those movies, and I think that's what hurts.
Yeah.
I found that like sci-fi horror movies tend to I enjoy those, but
Alien.
like Alien.
Have you guys seen Life? I think it's just called Life.
Haven't
even heard of it.
Fairly new with the guy who played Ryan Reynolds and not who played Ryan Reynolds.
The guy who played Ryan Reynolds. I knew there was something like nobody's that handsome. Like that's all prosthetics.
No. Ryan Reynolds.
Andy Serkis.
Yeah, it's a motion capture. Ryan Reynolds. No, it's about like a little alien life form that they find that gets loose on the space station. That's really spooky. Really good.
That's pretty much how all of them go. Did y'all see Europa Report? About an expedition to the moon, Europa? It was pretty good. And also,
there's that one about the sharks, that's some sort of deep sea laboratory that had Samuel L. Jackson.
Deep Blue Sea?
I think so. I didn't see that, but that sounds kind of like what you guys are talking about. I'm just trying to fit in with you guys because I haven't seen any of these movies.
Also, you got Sphere. That was a good one.
Sphere.
Well, let's
was not a good movie. But I didn't read that book.
I enjoyed the movie, but I never read the book.
I don't really remember a whole lot about the movie. The Michael Crichton books I read. I love Jurassic Park. I absolutely loved it when I was like in fourth grade when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
It's an amazing movie, and I read Michael Crichton books for a while. But I mean, Sphere was okay, but the movies always sucked.
Yeah, the movie
Congo, I think, wasn't that Michael Crichton?
Yeah. Well,
sucked too.
the Congo, the book wasn't that awesome either. Actually,
I don't think I read that book.
Man,
Maybe I did, but
you didn't miss much. I mean, I think the only difference was that in the movies they gave the monkeys stone ping pong paddles to kill people with, and I don't think that was in the book, or maybe it was. But we'll get plenty of time to talk about Sphere at some point. I promise you that.
Ooh, that's a little spooky foreshadowing there for you.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
One other shout out to a sci-fi spooky movie I want to mention is Event Horizon. Have y'all?
Oh yes.
I'm telling you, I usually don't watch. I really think the last scary movie I watched was The Ring. Did you guys see The Ring?
No,
Oh,
but
it's actually pretty scary until
I've
the
known
end.
it.
I'm not going to spoil the end, but the ending was like,
That's the one where like the people look at the TV and there's a ring.
yes,
Yeah.
but they figure out. Well, you just have to see it.
You have to see Event Horizon.
Yeah.
Event Horizon.
Yeah, that's like
Okay,
a
whatever.
cardinal crime if you haven't seen that.
Yeah, I'll watch it. I.e., I'm never going to watch it. I ain't got time for that.
Right.
Well, anybody else got any spookiness they want to put it out on the track?
No, I think I'm.
You're spooked out.
I'm spooked out.
I do want to say
I guess
sorry
we
for
should
the.
maybe.
Look at my hand. Look at my hand.
Dylan's can't. His hand is shaking like you wouldn't believe.
Look at my hand. I do want to say sorry for the whole Buddha thing. While I have the opportunity, that was a mean trick to play on a young boy, and I do apologize. And also Ansel, to your tale, our cousin in Michigan also told me that whenever she would listen to that Nine Inch Nails song that said "God is dead," that all the picture frames and mirrors would crack in the house. So you may just have to let Bloody Mary go, man.
I'll try. I don't know. Like I don't know. She was so vivid in her description. Like
Yeah, she was.
that's
good
the thing.
At that.
We were telling ghost stories at Halloween.
She's good at that.
And she's like, "I'm telling you this, but it's not really a story. This really happened." It's like, dude.
Yeah, it didn't deter
No.
me. Like I love that Nine Inch Nails song even more after that. So, but yeah, you're gonna have to let it go. She was good at that.
Yeah, she has a very vivid description. But yeah, Bloody Mary. Not so scary to me anymore. I finally conquered my fear.
I'm kind of thirsty after all this talk of
A little bit.
Bloody Marys.
Right.
All right. Well, let's
wrap this up. This has been a very special edition of Boo Club. Hopefully you're not too spooked out, and you'll come back and see us next episode,
which is coming up like in a week. Like
this
is just a one-off thing. Well, our next episode, which will be The Color of Magic, comes out this Friday.
That's correct.
Good old Terry Pratchett.
Thank you for listening. As always, find us on the internet at Book Club Cast.
On all the social media platforms,
Yeah.
We are Book Club
Except
Cast.
for Snapchat.
No Snapchat. Snapchat is
Snapchat sucks.
Snapchat is for
It's for the youngs.
You can also find us on Reddit. We've got our own subreddit at r/bookclubcast, and if you want, send us pictures of your big Halloween trick or treat hauls. I wanna see who's really pulling it in this year, and and if you're listening to this before Halloween night, are they? Yeah,
Well,
are they?
In theory, on Halloween.
they would have that option, but
Okay, good. Well,
Probably not.
If they are,
probably not. No.
go out and be that house. Like be that house that has the full size Snickers bars. Come on, it's once a year, and it's
Do these people that listen to our show look like they're made out of money, Elijah?
Also,
I can't see them. It's a podcast.
happy birthday to your daughter who was born on Halloween.
That is correct.
Happy
was.
birthday, dear Leah.
Very spooky
Aw,
birthday to
very sweet
to
of you
Leah
guys.
Ray.
Yep, Booger Bear
Send
will
some
turn
pictures.
1. I will. She's gonna get her a big cake and eat it herself and get messy.
Awesome.
Yeah. So
The
Thank you very much.
spookiest disease, diabetes, is in her future.
Best That's not the spookiest disease.
You guys have already mentioned the plague and syphilis tonight. I think we've covered. I mean, but you know what the leper told the prostitute, right?
No.
Keep the tip.
Thanks again for listening. We'll catch you next time on Book Club.